Let's get started with our first news. Arman is training in Ilias' hometown. That's right, lightweight contender Arman Tsarukyan just posted a picture showing himself grinding it out in Alicante, Spain, the very same location where Ilias was known to train. This move wasn't just about the scenery or a change of camp. It seems like there was a clear message being sent, and he didn't hold back one bit. Alongside the photo, Arman made his intentions loud and clear with a sharp caption that said, "Still training and the duck is still ducking." That line wasn't subtle, it was a direct shot at Ilia Topuria, suggesting that Tapiria is avoiding a potential matchup. The mind games appear to be in full swing here, and the fans are eating it up. Social media lit up as soon as the post went live, and it's clear that tensions between these two rising stars are reaching a boiling point. Now, here's the big question. Would you rather see Arman Tsarukyan go head-to-head with Ilia Topuria in a battle that could define the next generation of elite fighters? Or would you prefer to see Tsarukyan test himself against Justin Gaethje, one of the most dangerous and respected veterans in the division, in what could be a #1 contender fight? Each matchup tells a different story. A fight between Arman and Ilia would be all about pride, momentum, and proving who truly deserves to carry the lightweight torch into the future. Both fighters are young, hungry, and on the rise. They've both shown flashes of brilliance inside the cage, and a bout between them would undoubtedly be filled with fireworks, fast-paced exchanges, and raw emotion. It's the kind of fight that would keep fans glued to their screens from the opening bell. On the other hand, a clash between Tsarukyan and Gaethje would be an entirely different beast. Justin Gaethje is known for being one of the most relentless, aggressive fighters in the game. He's got legendary power, durability, and the kind of never-say-die attitude that has made him a fan favorite. For Tsarukyan, taking on Gaethje wouldn't just be a step up, it would be a true test of his grit, composure, and ability to stand and trade with the best of them. And if Tsarukyan were to win that fight, it would put him in prime position for a title shot. Either way, fans win, whether it's the rising star grudge match between Tsarukyan and Tapiria, or a high-stakes action-packed war with Gaethje. These potential matchups are nothing short of explosive. The only thing left to do now is wait and see which path the UFC decides to take. But one thing's for sure, Arman Tsarukyan is making big moves, and he's not afraid to stir the pot in the process. Stay tuned, because this story is only just getting started. Before moving to the next news, we have one quick request for you. We're constantly working on improving our content to earn your love and support. That's why we truly appreciate it if you could take just a moment to leave a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Your support really helps us grow and bring you even better content every single time. And of course, don't forget to leave your opinion in the comments. Let us know what you think we should improve next. Your feedback means a lot to us, and we're always listening. Thank you. Moving on to the next big story, Mike Perry shuts down the idea of fighting Conor McGregor and boldly claims that Conor is still owned by the UFC. While it's no secret that Conor McGregor has 2 fights remaining on his UFC contract, he's been very vocal about his desire to eventually step away from the octagon and try his hand in the world of bare-knuckle fighting, specifically under the BKFC banner, which stands for Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. That's where Mike Perry is currently making waves. But according to Perry, the talk of a potential fight between him and McGregor is all just smoke and mirrors, at least for now. In Perry's words, it's a fantasy because Conor isn't going anywhere. During a recent BKFC press conference, Mike Perry made it clear that he doesn't believe such a matchup is realistic, especially considering McGregor's current obligations to the UFC, and Perry didn't mince words. He explained that when he was announcing his next big fight, Conor McGregor jumped in and stole the moment. According to Perry, "I called him out and he had to protect himself. He said, 'You'll dance for me October 11th. Perry continued, and I'm like, he's out here announcing my fight date, but let's be real, I'm not fighting you. You're still under contract. You're owned by the UFC. You can't get out. They're holding on tight to you. You're not fighting me, you're just promoting for us." That's a bold statement, but one that reflects the very real limitations Conor faces as he remains under exclusive UFC rights. No matter how badly fans may want to see him throw hands with Mike Perry inside the BKFC ring, the reality is that Conor's current contract keeps him tightly bound to Dana White's promotion, at least for the foreseeable future. Meanwhile, McGregor isn't exactly sitting idle. In fact, he's showing signs of making a return to action. This week, he re-entered the UFC's official drug testing pool, which is usually usually a clear signal that a fighter is preparing for an upcoming bout. McGregor even shared photos of a USADA agent paying him a visit, and get this, it happened while he was on his yacht. He then followed up with a video where he showed off a brand new mohawk haircut and revealed a plaster on his shoulder. His caption read, "I gave my first blood test. That's what the plaster is on my shoulder. I'm ecstatic. I am in shape." He wasn't done there. In a separate post, McGregor added, "Return of the Mac," suggesting he's feeling ready to return to the cage and put on a show. And in true McGregor fashion, he even fired a quick jab at Ilia Topuria, a fighter who fans say has copied some of McGregor's iconic tattoos that stirred up even more buzz online. All signs are pointing toward one thing: we might actually be getting that long-awaited McGregor versus Chandler fight after all. Stay tuned because things are heating up fast. Next up, Dricus du Plessis praises Ilia Topuria and Thomas Bisping ahead of his upcoming showdown with Khamzat Chimaev. The reigning middleweight champion had absolutely nothing but praise for his fellow title holders during a recent interview with Betway South Africa. In fact, du Plessis didn't just compliment them, he went so far as make a bold prediction that Ilia Topuria will one day find himself in the UFC Hall of Fame. During the interview, du Plessis spoke with real admiration. "I'm so happy for him," he said. "We actually made our debuts on the same fight card. He was literally in my changing room back then. We were on the same trajectory, both of us working our way up, grinding and then winning our titles just 1 month apart. So yeah, I'm super happy for him." He then added, "I think Ilia is one of those special characters who's destined to be a Hall of Famer. No doubt in my mind. He's unbeaten. He's the first undefeated fighter to hold 2 titles. That alone puts him in elite company." Du Plessis didn't stop there. He continued, "I rate him very highly, not just as a striker, but as an all-around fighter. And when it comes to striking power, let's be real, he knocked out 3 legends already. That's not luck. That's pure talent and execution. In my opinion, he's one of the best, if not the best, fighters in the UFC right now." But the admiration didn't stop with Tapiria. Du Plessis also shared his thoughts on interim heavyweight champ Tom Espinal, and the compliments kept flowing. "Yeah, I think he's incredible," he said. "Honestly, the first time I saw Tom Espinal fight, I knew there was something special about him. He's part of this next generation of heavyweights. He doesn't fight like the old school brawlers. He moves like a middleweight. He's light on his feet. He can grapple. He can strike. He can wrestle. He's a complete package." Du Plessis added, "I've spoken to Tom quite a few times. He's a great guy, and I honestly believe he's going to be a champion for a long time. There aren't many, if any, heavyweights out there who are on his level right now. He's something different." Fans, understandably, are hyped for Espinal's first title defense, which is set to be against Cyril Gane. But not everyone sees the matchup as evenly matched. Jairzinho Rosenstruck, speaking through a translator on the Ariel Helwani show, gave his thoughts. "I'm pretty sure Espinal beats Gane," he said. "It looks like Gane has other priorities in his life at the moment, and at this level, you can't afford to have that. If you're going for the UFC heavyweight title, you have to be all in, no distraction, and it doesn't seem like that's where Gane's head is anymore. I get it, it's a title shot, but I think his focus is elsewhere." Now here's an exciting thought. If both Dricus du Plessis and Tom Espinal defend their titles successfully in their upcoming fights, there's a real possibility they could co-headline a mega event on the same card. Just imagine that, 2 dominant champs, same night, same stage. That would be absolutely electric. Let's now move on to another heated and highly controversial topic. Michael Bisping and Paul Felder are not holding back when it comes to Ilia Topuria and his recent comments regarding a potential fight with Arman Tsarukyan. The former UFC fighters and now respected analysts had strong words for the current featherweight champion after he suggested that he would rather vacate his belt than face Tsarukyan inside the octagon. The comments came during the latest episode of the Believe You Me podcast, hosted by Bisping, where the topic quickly turned to Tapuria's bold statement. According to Bisping, fighters in this current generation have developed a tendency to avoid risk the moment they reach the top, and to him, that mindset goes completely against the spirit of being a true champion. "Come on, man, we're getting a little carried away," Bisping said, clearly unimpressed. This generation of fighters, when they get to the top, they want to jump around weight classes, chase big-name fights, and avoid the actual #1 contenders. That's not how it works, man. If you're the champ and the UFC says this guy is next, then that's WHU fight, period. He didn't stop there. Bisping questioned Tapiria's intentions behind the comment. Why is he even saying that? Is it just to get under Arman's skin? Maybe. But if he said he would vacate the belt instead of fighting Tsarukyan, then we have to hold him to that. You can't talk like that and still call yourself the baddest man in the division. Paul Felder, who co-hosted the episode, echoed Bisping's frustration. He emphasized the importance of champions backing up their words with action. If you're gonna say a guy's not on your level, then prove it, Felder said. Step into the cage and show everyone that he doesn't belong there. That's what being the best is all about. If you're not willing to do that, then what are we even doing here? The idea of ducking or dismissing top-ranked contenders goes against everything that makes the sport of MMA so compelling. Fans want to see the best fight the best, not carefully curated matchups or title reigns based on popularity and convenience. That's why Bisping and Felder's critique resonated with so many people in the MMA community. Tapiria, who is currently undefeated and riding a wave of momentum, has been building a reputation as one of the most dangerous featherweights on the planet, but refusing to face someone like Arman Tsarukyan, who is also considered one of the most skilled and dangerous lightweights in the UFC, could damage his credibility, especially if that statement isn't just trash talk, but a genuine stance. At the end of the day, champions are measured not only by how many belts they collect, but by WHO they beat to get there, and who they defend their titles against. If the UFC says Tsarukyan is next, and Tapiria truly believes he's on another level, then the Octagon is the place to settle it. No excuses, no shortcuts, just fight. And now let's talk about one of the biggest questions fans are asking right now. Why is the UFC delaying Ilia Topuria versus Paddy Pimblett and Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena? Both the lightweight and welterweight divisions are absolutely stacked with talent right now, yet there's been almost zero movement at the top. No big announcements, no official dates, no confirmed matchups, nothing. Even the fighters themselves, including Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria, have openly voiced their confusion and frustration when asked about the status of their next fights. But thanks to the latest episode of the Weighing In podcast featuring Josh Thompson and Big John McCarthy, we might finally have an explanation, and it has everything to do with the business side of the sport. According to Thompson, the UFC may be deliberately holding off on these major fight bookings. The reason? They're waiting for the current ESPN deal to expire and for their new partnership with Netflix to officially begin. Here's why that matters. Under the current ESPN model, the UFC gets paid a flat rate for pay-per-view events, no matter how many people actually buy the fight. Whether a card does huge numbers or falls flat, the revenue stays the same. But with Netflix stepping in, the UFC's profit will be directly tied to actual PPV sales. That changes everything. With this new model on the horizon, the UFC has a massive incentive to hold off on booking blockbuster fights until the new deal is active. They want to make sure that when they launch their new era on Netflix, they do it with super fights and massive stakes that will generate real payday potential. In other words, the UFC is playing the long game. So what does that mean for stars like Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev? It means the UFC is protecting them. These are two of the biggest names the company is trying to build around right now, and they don't want to risk either of them losing in what they consider a meaningless fight before the more lucrative Netflix deal kicks in. If one of them were to lose now, it could take the shine off a major main event when the new PPV structure is launched. Think about it, the UFC has already shown a willingness to wait. They've waited this long for Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. They've waited this long for John Jones versus Thomas Bainal. So waiting a few more months for Islam and Ilia, not a big deal for them, even if it's frustrating for fans. Josh Thompson even speculated that if Jack Della Maddalena wins his next fight, the UFC could set up a huge super fight between him and Islam to headline one of the first Netflix cards. And maybe, just maybe, Arman Tsarukyan will take on Justin Gaethje in the meantime to keep the division active. It's all part of a high-stakes waiting game. And while it may be difficult for fans to be patient, there's clearly a strategy behind the silence. Finally, let's wrap things up with some unfortunate and disappointing news for fight fans. Dana White has been forced to cancel an upcoming UFC bout due to injury. This was one of the scheduled matchups for UFC Shanghai next month, and it was expected to be an exciting clash. Song Kanan was originally set to go head-to-head with Kiefer Crosby in what many viewed as a solid addition to the card, but now that fight is officially over. According to multiple reports, Song Kanan suffered an injury to his right eye that required immediate medical attention. The situation turned serious enough that he had to undergo surgery. A video has surfaced showing Son preparing for the operation, looking calm but clearly aware of the gravity of the moment. Later in the clip, he's shown being stretched off the operating table with a large patch covering his injured eye. As of now, there are no additional details about the full extent of the damage. The UFC and Song's team have not provided further clarification on the nature of the injury or his expected recovery timeline. But what we do know is this: Song Kanan will not be competing at UFC Shanghai on August 23rd. This cancellation is yet another reminder of how unpredictable the sport can be. Injuries happen, and when they do, they can shake up entire fight cards. For local fans in China, this was going to be a chance to see one of their own step into the octagon on home soil, and now that moment will have to wait. Kiefer Crosby's status is still unclear as well, and we'll have to see if the UFC tries to find him a replacement opponent in time. And that's gonna do it for today's lineup. As always, stay locked in because more updates are coming your way soon. Fights are heating up, rivalries are getting personal, and the UFC is working behind the scenes in ways we've never seen before. Whether it's fight announcements, shocking callouts, or sudden twists like this one, it's all part of the wild ride that is the world of MMA. Keep watching because things are only just getting started.